You know that feeling when you look down and your belly isn't just soft fat, it's hard, almost distended, like you swallowed a basketball that just won't deflate no matter what you do. And it's not just uncomfortable physically, it's that tight waistband during your afternoon meeting. It's catching your reflection in the office bathroom and feeling like this body doesn't belong to you anymore. It's lying in bed at night, running through every single thing you've ate that day, wondering what you did wrong this time. And what makes this even more frustrating, you're probably one of the most disciplined people you know. You hit your targets at work, you show up, you power through. So why is your body the one thing you can't seem to control? If you're a high-achieving woman with PCOS who's been doing everything right and still watching that stubborn midsection grow, you're in the right place. Because in this video, I'm going to show you the biological reason why intense workouts and strict dieting are actually making your belly fat worse. Then I'll walk you through the exact paradigm shift that helped me and hundreds of other women finally lose that visceral fat by doing the opposite of what we've been told. If you're sitting there thinking, but I've tried everything, I need to tell you something that's going to sound completely backwards. Your belly fat isn't a sign that you're failing. It's actually a sign that your body is succeeding at something you've never asked it to do. Let me take you back to 2019. I was a clinical director at a biotech firm in Basel. On paper, my life looked perfect. Rising star in the company, working on cutting-edge insulin sensitizer programs. The kind of job that makes your parents proud at dinner parties. But what you don't see is the Sunday night anxiety that would start creeping in at around 4 p.m. like clockwork. The tension headaches that became so normal I stopped even mentioning them. The third coffee by 10 a.m. because I was running on empty, but I had a presentation to nail. I remember standing in front of my closet one morning, trying on the fourth pair of pants that didn't fit anymore, and just breaking down. Because I was doing everything the fitness influencers said to do. I was crushing it in my HIIT classes, tracking every macro, eating clean, working harder than ever, and I was gaining weight. Specifically right here, around my middle, that hard, uncomfortable, stubborn fat that made me feel like I was failing at the one thing I should be able to control. My sister Selena had just been diagnosed with PCOS, and watching her struggle with the same thing while doctors told her to just eat less and move more made me furious. Because we weren't lazy, we were both exhausted, high-performing women who were literally doing everything we've been told to do. That's when I started spending my nights and weekends buried in PubMed research, not as a clinical director, as a desperate sister who knew there had to be a better way. And I found something really interesting, and I'm going to explain this in a way that finally made sense to me after reading hundreds of studies. Basically, your body is running two stress signals at the same time. Think of it like having two alarm systems going off simultaneously. Signal one is cortisol, your body's stress hormone. When you're in back-to-back meetings, working late, pushing through fatigue with coffee, skipping meals because you're busy, then crushing a HIIT workout because you're disciplined, your body interprets all of that as, we are under attack. There's a tiger chasing us. We need energy quickly now. So cortisol does exactly what it's supposed to do. It mobilizes glucose into your bloodstream, fast energy to fight or flee. But here's where signal 2 comes in. If you have PCOS, you likely have some degree of insulin resistance, which means that your cells aren't responding well to insulin's message to absorb that glucose. So your body is flooding your bloodstream with sugar for the emergency, but your cells can't use it efficiently. Your pancreas freaks out and pumps out more insulin. And insulin's backup plan is simple. We can't use this energy right now. Store it immediately as fat. And where does your body store it? In the fastest to access location, your abdomen. Because from your body's perspective, there's a famine or a war coming. It's preparing you to survive. This is why eating less doesn't fix this. Because when you add calorie restriction on top of everything else you're doing, you're not sending a fat loss signal to your stressed body. You're sending another stress signal to an already stressed body. Another famine signal. Your body isn't broken. It's actually perfectly executing its survival protocol. It's just responding to the wrong emergency. The tiger isn't real. The emergency is your lifestyle. This is what I call the high performer's paradox, and it's the thing that nobody tells ambitious women with PCOS. The very traits that make you successful in your career are the exact traits that are biochemically backfiring on your body. You're a problem solver. So when something isn't working, you try harder, you push more, you add an extra workout, you cut more calories, you drink another coffee to power through the afternoon slump. But your body doesn't understand quarterly targets or career ambitions. It understands survival. So every time time you push harder, you're confirming to your body that yes, we are in crisis mode. Yes, we need to store every possible calorie as emergency fat. I say this with every single client I work with. These are women who are absolutely crushing it in their careers. Teachers managing classrooms of 30 kids, executives running teams, entrepreneurs building businesses. And they come to me completely baffled because the same work ethic that got them promoted is making them gain weight. Here's the truth that the fitness industry doesn't want you to know. Your belly fat is not a willpower problem. It's a safety problem. Your body thinks you're in danger, and until you convince it otherwise, it will hold on to that visceral fat like your life depends on it. Because from its perspective, it does. Here's the paradigm shift. Stop trying to attack the belly fat. Stop adding more stress. Stop forcing your body to comply. Instead, start signaling safety. I know this sounds completely counterintuitive, but you're probably thinking, but Elena, I need to work harder to lose weight, not less hard. Trust me, I had the same thought. Until I tested this approach on my sister Selena, then on myself, then on 6 women in a quiet pilot program I ran on nights and weekends. Every single one of them had been stuck for months or years. Every single one of them was doing intense exercise and strict dieting. And every single one of them started losing that stubborn belly fat when we did the opposite of what they've been told. Here's a practical example. If you were doing HIIT workouts 4 times a week because you read that's what you need to do to burn fat, I want you to try something radical this week. Swap one of those sessions for slow, heavy strength training. Not a boot camp class, not a spin class that leaves you destroyed. Actual strength work. Something where you're lifting moderately heavy weights with a full rest between sets. Why? Because HIIT can be incredible for certain people. For a high cortisol, insulin-resistant body, it often just adds another massive stress spike. You finish that class feeling accomplished, but your cortisol levels just hit the ceiling, and now your body is scrambling to store even more fat. Heavy strength training done correctly with adequate rest actually builds the metabolic machinery you need without that same cortisol spike. You're sending a different signal, not emergency sprint from the tiger. Instead, we're strong, we're building, we're safe. I'm not saying never do cardio. I'm saying your body might need something different right now than what a 22-year-old fitness influencer with perfect insulin sensitivity needs. Another example. If you're someone who's powering through your morning on black coffee until noon because you're intermittent fasting, but then you're ravenous and fighting cravings all afternoon, that might not be serving you right now. Your body needs to know that food is available, that there isn't a famine. Some of my most successful clients actually started eating breakfast again, something with protein and fat that stabilizes blood sugar. And suddenly, that afternoon urge to binge disappeared. Because here's the thing about insulin resistance and high cortisol. They both mess with your hunger hormones. When you finally eat after hours of fasting, your insulin spikes hard, your blood sugar crashes, and then you're in a hormonal storm of hunger signals. It's not a discipline problem, it's a biology problem. When I finally presented my sister's results to my CMO at that time, along with the data from the 6 women in my pilot group, I thought I was offering the company something valuable, a real patient support program for women with PCOS. His response? Elena, this is a nice hobby, but it's not going to move the needle for our Series B investors. That moment crystallized something for me. I could keep doing work that looked impressive on paper but felt hollow, or I could quit my secure, well-paid job and build a program that should have existed for my sister, for me, for the millions of women who are typing desperate questions into Google at 2 a.m. So I quit. And I'm not going to lie, the first 6 months were terrifying. I had Sunday night anxiety about rent, not presentations. I was doing medical writing gigs and tutoring to keep the lights on while I built this program piece by piece. But every single client who told me, "You gave me my life back," made it worth it. Every woman who finally understood why her body was working against her, who stopped blaming herself, who lost that stubborn belly fat by doing less intense work and eating more strategically, that's why I do this. Because your body doesn't need another drill sergeant. It needs a scientist who understands the signals and a partner who's been in the corporate trenches with the tension headaches and the tight waistbands and the feeling of being trapped in a body that will cooperate. If what I'm describing resonates with you, if you're a high-achieving woman with PCOS who's tired of being told to just relax or try harder, I want to invite you to check out the Keystone Weight Loss Protocol. This is not another generic diet plan. This is a weight loss approach specifically designed for high cortisol, insulin-resistant bodies, for women whose biggest problem isn't lack of discipline. It's that they've been following advice meant for completely different bodies. We focus on three things: signaling metabolic safety to your stressed system, rebuilding your insulin sensitivity through strategic nutrition, and supporting your body through sustainable movement that builds you up instead of breaking you down. And I'm not promising it's fast, but I'm promising it's effective. Because we're not just forcing your body to drop weight through sheer willpower. We're actually addressing why that belly fat accumulated in the first place. You can find more information in the description below. And if you're not ready for that yet, that's completely okay. Start with that one swap I mentioned. Trade one HIIT session for strength work. See how your body responds when you stop adding stress and start signaling safety. Your body isn't your enemy. It's been trying to protect you this whole time. It just needs you to be able to speak its language. And that hard, stubborn belly, it's not a failure. It's feedback. Your body is telling you something needs to change. Not more restriction, not more intensity, but a completely different approach. One that finally works with your biology instead of against it.